When I was 18, staring down the barrel of college tuition fees, I did what any kid would do. I went to my parents, I sat them down, my hands shaking a little, and laid out the numbers. The cost was staggering, and there was just no way I could cover it all with a part-time job. I wasn't asking for a free ride, just a little help to get started. Their response: "You need to be independent." They said it with this air of finality, like they were teaching me a profound life lesson. At that moment, it felt less like a lesson and more like a door slamming shut in my face. Independent. The word echoed in my head as I walked out of that room, feeling more alone than ever. So, I took their advice. I became independent. I took out student loans, mountains of them. I worked 2, sometimes 3, part-time jobs while juggling a full course load. My college experience wasn't about late-night study groups and weekend parties. It was about graveyard shifts at a diner, stocking shelves at a grocery store, and catching a few hours of sleep whenever I could. I ate instant noodles like they were a food group. My social life was non-existent. There were moments I wanted to quit, moments I cried from sheer exhaustion, but that word, independent, kept pushing me forward. It became my mantra, a promise I made to myself. I graduated, not with the triumphant feeling I had imagined, but with a deep sense of relief and a crushing weight of debt. The real world hit hard. I started at the bottom, in a tiny apartment with secondhand furniture. Every paycheck was a careful balancing act: rent, utilities, loan payments, and what little was left for food. While my friends were getting help from their parents for down payments on houses or to start their own businesses, I was still paying for the independence my parents had insisted upon. The bitterness was a constant companion. I'd see family photos on social media, everyone smiling, and I'd just feel this disconnect. They preached family, but when I needed my family most, they taught me about self-reliance instead. Over the years, I clawed my way up. I switched jobs, got promotions, and slowly, painstakingly, started to build a life for myself. I learned to budget, to invest, to be fiercely self-sufficient in every aspect of my life. I paid off every single penny of my student loans myself. The day I made that final payment, I didn't celebrate. I just sat in silence, thinking about the cost. Not the financial cost, but the emotional one. It had cost me my youth, my peace of mind, and my relationship with my parents. We were civil, of course. We did the whole holiday thing, the polite phone calls. But the warmth was gone. There was a wall between us, built brick by brick with every struggle I faced alone. They had wanted me to be independent, and they got their wish. I was so independent that I no longer needed them for anything, not even for emotional support. Fast forward 9 years. I'm 36 now. I have a great career, a beautiful home that I bought myself, and a solid financial foundation. I'm proud of what I've built. A few months ago, I got a call. It was my mom. She sounded hesitant. After some small talk, she got to the point. My dad's business had taken a major hit, and they were in serious financial trouble. They were on the verge of losing their house, the very house I grew up in. She asked if I could help. She said, "We don't know who else to turn to." The irony was so thick, I could barely breathe. I stood in my kitchen, looking out at the garden I'd planted myself, and a decade of unspoken resentment washed over me. All those lonely nights, all the sacrifices, all the times I wished I could just call them and ask for help. I remembered the 18-year-old me, desperate and scared. And I remembered their words: "You need to be independent." I took a deep breath. The old me, the bitter me, wanted to say no. Wanted to throw those same words right back at them. Wanted to make them feel just a fraction of the abandonment I felt. But looking at my life, at everything I had become, I realized something. Their harsh lesson, as painful as it was, had forged me into the person I am today. A person strong enough, capable enough, and financially secure enough to handle a crisis like this. A person who could help. Hating them wouldn't change the past. It wouldn't erase the struggle. It would only chain me to it forever. My independence wasn't just about money. It was about the freedom to choose, the freedom to be a better person than I was yesterday. So, I told her yes, I would help. But it came with a condition. We needed to talk. Really talk. About that day 9 years ago. About the years of silence and distance. I wasn't just going to write a check and pretend everything was fine. This wasn't about saving their house. It was about a chance to maybe, just maybe, rebuild our family. I drove to their house the next day. We sat at the same dining table where they had once told me to be on my own. And for the first time, we were honest. There were tears. There were apologies. They admitted they were scared back then, and thought they were doing the right thing, teaching me a tough lesson. I told them how much it hurt, how abandoned I felt. Helping them financially was the easy part. The hard part is what comes next. We're rebuilding, one honest conversation at a time. It's awkward and it's painful, but it's real. I learned to be independent, yes. But I also learned that true strength isn't about closing yourself off. It's about being strong enough to open the door again, even when it's been slammed in your face. It's about choosing compassion over bitterness, and connection over pride. The lesson they tried to teach me about independence ended up teaching me something far more valuable: how to be truly interdependent, on my own terms. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing for more.